Would make these windows, and forgive my voice because I have a cold. So the way that you would make these windows, so I'm gonna start with just making a new layer. Now, when you're doing this, you probably already traced, this part of the building and made it a light gray. So, also, you've probably, you would have only have half of the grays. Right now, I have all of them. I'm not going to delete them now because I'm trying to do this quickly. So don't follow this exactly because you won't have all of these grays to use. Just continue using the 10 grays that you have. Again, I'm really just trying to do this for maximum speed rather than maximum accuracy. Okay, so now we have your main shape. This actually should probably be darker. And the only reason I'm fixing that is because you'll want it to be the correct color. Okay, next, to make your windows here, we're breaking down each shape into different shapes. Okay, I'm going to start with this outside shape. And the more accurate you are, the better it will look in the end. Okay, so the light in this picture is coming from the left. So this is lighter than that. So if this is the color of the building, we want something lighter than that for the side. And I guess really what you would do here is, this is the same perspective. Sorry, my cold is also making my brain a little fuzzy, but I'm doing my best to show you what I got here. So let's try it. Okay, so this is basically the same as the regular window situation. You'd select this whole shape. Now we're going to hit Option, or you could go up here. The command bar up top is tool sensitive. So if you're in the lasso tool and you don't have any, and something's already selected, often it will assume you want to deselect things. So it lets you deselect. So deselect what you have. And again, I'm really going for speed, not accuracy. Okay, on a new layer, we're going to fill it in. Now what we have here is a light shape, a dark shape. Now let's turn this off. Now we're going to do this part. Now this is in shadow because the shadow is being cast on it. And now we can also get rid of this part. This is the easy part. I imagine this is not the part that you're having trouble with, but it is the outside part, so I'm just showing it to you because let's do the first things first. This is its own layer. Okay, so now we have 3 pieces. Okay, turn this off. Oh, I turned the picture off. Okay, now let's get this part. Okay, now something about Photoshop is you don't actually have to be fully accurate. Only the thing on top needs to be accurate. So I'm actually going to make this go beyond what I need it to. Double click to close the shape. And then I'm going to make my layer underneath. Okay, from this point on, I'm only going to do the top part of this. Okay, and this is also in shadow. You can make these 2 things the same color, I think. Okay, because they're really the same shape. If you wanted, you can make it slightly darker to give it more depth. Look, now we have even more depth. I think that looks better. Okay. Now we turn that off again. You have the bottom shape also. Okay, again, only the thing on top needs to be accurate. So if this layer, this one is layer 2, is on top of layer 5, you don't have to be fully accurate. These 2 things can be the same color. Great. We've got our little window box. Let's put layer. Okay, this is the right order. This is just, I wasn't very accurate on the bottom here. That's why it looks a little off. That's okay. Now also, if you're going to want the depth here, you will want, turn the wrong thing off. You will want this little piece to show, because that's also important to give us more depth. This is what I was saying earlier about in the first place when you wanted to do this picture, that when you do these smaller pictures, you have to be more careful, like not careful, but you have to give more depth to the picture. Or you have to be more detailed, because we're going to look for those details because we're so close to the picture. Okay, now the part that you're actually having trouble with. We have the little window casing. It sounded like the problem you were having was the glass. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to put the glass underneath everything else. That way, it's the least accurate thing we need to be. And since it's the most difficult thing, let's not have it be the most accurate thing. Okay. Now, the glass is the brightest thing, even though, because glass is reflective. So let's make it bright. I think we could even make it brighter than that. Deselect. I'm going to turn this layer off. See that there's also actually a shadow in the glass. And we're going to reflect that. Reflect, hahaha. Okay, I'm going to hold Command or Control if you have a PC, and then click on the thumbnail. That's going to select our the pixels that were on this layer, even if the layer is hidden. That's going to make it so we can now use this to select away. That will give us our shadow part. Now the shadow actually is pretty dramatic, so maybe we want to be dramatic and give it a nice dramatic contrast. There we go. Now we've got this little window thing. Okay, so that looks pretty good. If you wanted something that I see is like my little piece here, that's not accurate. You could see through it. Okay, I just nudged it down. That's why it's important to be on different layers so you can nudge things. Okay, now you're gonna want to get the window sills, like these metal parts right here. That's what I imagine you're having trouble with. Okay, so now if let's hide the shadow part. That I want to say was layer 8. Yeah, it was layer 8. Okay, now we have layer 7. I can turn that off. I'm going to, again, hold Command or Control and this layer. Okay, so I have the whole shape selected. Now I'm going to use the layer tool, not the layer, the lasso tool. And now I'm going to, as best as I can, I'm going to zoom in. And when you do this, you can do this two windows at a time, because these line up perfectly. Just like this lined up perfectly, you could have done those together. I'm not doing that because I'm trying to do this quickly. So now we're going to, as best as we can, try to we want to be left with just the lines. So I'm selecting away from these lines. So I'm getting rid of that, and I'm only doing the verticals. Although you see that I lost that vertical, let's just do the long verticals. And since you're kind of on a time crunch, simplify the design, and you can just only do the verticals if you want to. I mean, that's not like gonna make it the most beautiful, but it will make it finished, and at some point finished is more important. So I would recommend just simplifying what you see. So just so you can ignore those parts. Okay, so I don't know if you can exactly tell what I'm doing. I can try to narrate this better. What I'm doing is I'm closing in and I'm selecting away, I'm deselecting, or I guess subtracting away the part of the window that is the glass, and I'm leaving just the thin metal line. Okay. And you want to do this for the whole window. And again, the more accurate you are with this, the better it will look. The thinner these lines are, the more it will look like glass. Okay, now something else that you can notice while we're doing this is that the further away in perspective we get, the closer these seem to be. Another reason to not just make things up is because if you try making it up, it probably won't look right in the end. The photograph is true. Like, it's a true representation of the way that the physical space works. Okay, and you can also notice that the glass, like the metal piece, is kind of the same even in the shadow parts. So this piece that we're making, we're going to put this on top of layer 8. So I'm going to select layer 8, make a new layer on top of layer 8. Value-wise, I'd say it's somewhere in between layer 8 and layer 7. I don't really know how much it matters as long as there's contrast. So let's just choose something and see what it looks like and fill it in. And then see what it looks like. There you go. Now if we wanted to do the horizontal part, we would just turn this back off. Now we can keep it on the same layer 9, or we can make a new layer. I'm going to keep it on the same layer 9 because it is ultimately part of the same shape. Now layer 7, I think, is our layer. So I'm going to use hold command or control. Now this will be easier. It's just one line, but it is long. It's the one long horizontal line. Okay. And now we do the top part. So we're getting as close to it as we can. If I feel like I didn't get a good selection, I just hit backspace or delete. That gives me another shot to try again. Okay. Then I'm going well beyond the selection. Okay. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. And I will fill it in. Deselect. And now we can turn everything on. There we go. That is how you would make these windows.